Hi, my name is Aliana, and welcome back to our podcast.
And hi, my name is Ayah. In today's episode of Arts in NYC, we will be talking about the talented artist Carrie Mae Weems and her powerful Ain't Jokin' photo series.
But first, who is Carrie Mae Weems? Carrie Mae Weems is a renowned African-American artist and photographer, best known for her kitchen table series. Alongside that, she composed another series of many photos entitled Ain't Jokin', a photographic series that confronts the negative stereotypes about African Americans, which we will be talking about today.
Specifically, we will be talking about the mirror reflection photograph of Ain't Jokin' because it explores the societal expectations Black women faced in 1987 through 1988 and how they were pressured to conform to a specific beauty standard.
To give a visual of the image, it shows a Black woman looking into a mirror. However, in the reflection we see a lighter-skinned woman. The reflection of the woman is covered completely in the white cloth, wearing lipstick and probably attempting to beautify herself in order to be accepted into society.
And like Aliana said, she almost melts into the background, right? As if her identity is fading away, conforming to the white beauty standards and risk of her real identity being gone.
I totally agree with you. I also realized at first glance the frame looks like a mirror, and even the caption mentions mirror, mirror on the wall, so it becomes clear that the woman is actually holding a frame instead of a mirror.
Wait, yeah, oh my god, you're so right. I didn't even notice that before. I think that specific detail shows how the woman's identity is defined by how others view her. I believe Weems does this intentionally to show that the reflection isn't real, because unlike a mirror, the frame doesn't even reflect anything back. It symbolizes how society creates and enforces rules around what beauty should and shouldn't be.
Picture frames can also hold memories, which can symbolize the long history of these societal beauty standards based on race.
And speaking of history and memories, let's get into the past and origins of Black stereotypes, which inspired this entire series.
These stereotypes didn't just appear out of nowhere. They originated during the period of slavery, and many forms of media in America reinforced certain ideas of Black culture.
Essentially, these stereotypes were used to justify oppression and uphold white supremacy. An article discussing African American stereotypes states, historically, negative stereotypes have included portrayals of African Americans as lazy or intellectually inferior, which were used to justify slavery and ongoing discrimination. And Carrie Mae Weems confronts many of these stereotypes in her Ain't Jokin' series.
Many African American women definitely began to build internalized racism because of these stereotypes and sometimes projected white supremacy onto their own communities. I think this is represented in the photo, which also ties to the powerful caption together.
And that harsh racist language in the caption, yes, it shows how angry and confrontational the message is and how Black women were constantly subjected to it. It highlights the intense struggle they faced against racist beauty standards. And something interesting I found is how the woman behind the picture frame seems to be projecting this message onto the woman outside of it, reflecting how these harmful ideas get passed down. Over time, this causes Black women to internalize these messages and begin seeing themselves as inferior.
I also realized in the caption also importantly mentions Snow White. It seems like the woman is internalizing the messages she received about her race in comparisons to the idealized fairness of Snow White's beauty. She's very put together, she's wearing a slip dress, her hair is nice, and she has earrings on. But regardless of that, she struggles with accepting herself, and Weems's use of Princess Snow White, which literally has the name White in it, reflects the racialization of beauty standards. The woman's identity contrasts with societal expectations, and she is unable to appreciate who she sees in the mirror.
Yes, I totally agree. I think it's also interesting how Weems mixes this innocent fairy tale idea with the cruelty of racism, showing the audience that through television and childhood stories, Black women are often shown as not fitting into the mainstream idea of what beauty should be. And the starfish she holds almost reminds me of the poisoned apple in Snow White.
Oh, that's interesting. I actually recently found an article discussing the image by Emmanuel Jones from the Medium, saying that the starfish rather looks like a crack in the mirror, saying it represents the disruption of the racist narrative.
Oh, I can definitely see that perspective, which is really interesting, especially since I interpreted it in such a completely different way. When I even looked closer at the photograph, I noticed that I could still see the woman's lower body beneath the frame, as if she wasn't fully inside this false image. Yet at the same time, she seems to be the one attempting to influence other black women through this poisoned apple, or starfish as some people interpret it, persuading them to conform to the white beauty standards. To me, it feels like the reflection is trapped in an ongoing battle with these imposed standards, and even though she's struggling with herself, she ends up passing the same pressure and struggles onto others. That's why the starfish stands out so much to me, because it represents how these beauty ideals spread, almost like the poisoned apple, slowly affecting everyone it touches.
Oh, I can definitely see your interpretation. People typically view art differently, which makes art so special, but I still do agree with Emmanuel Jones. In many of Williams' works, she attempts to challenge the harmful stereotypes against African Americans, and I believe she's trying to reiterate it in the photograph through the crack. It adds more layers to the meaning of Ain't Jokin' as a whole.
Speaking of layers, I think it's incredibly impressive how Williams utilizes small details to convey a certain message in all of her photographs.
I definitely agree. Her artworks may appear simple from single glance, but it's actually very original. She takes advantage of small elements that stand out in black and white photos like lighting, facial expressions, and clothing.
This actually makes me think of another artist that uses small details to convey a larger message and also challenges stereotypes that African Americans face. Kara Walker. A small detail I remember in class is that she used sugar to build the sculpture of a sphinx to represent a figure of power meant to confront the uncomfortable history of the sugar trade.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. This photograph also makes people uncomfortable in confronting historical circumstances, much like the photograph in Ain't Jokin'.
When I was actually on the train, I actually saw an article by Lizzie Tabor, produced through Cornell, further analyzing Kara Walker's sculpture. And they mentioned something that was really interesting to me and gave me a connection to Weems and this idea of the color white. The article explained that the bleaching of the naturally brown sugar cane to construct this figure is believed to represent both racism and colorism, especially the way whiteness has been associated with power and beauty.
Wait, oh my god, that relates a lot to Weems' photograph and how the women were both conforming to the feminine beauty standard because they longed for how whiteness represented power, privilege, and success.
Wait, Aliana, what time is it?
Oh my god, I just realized we have class in a minute. I think we got so caught up in how interesting this topic is.
Definitely, for sure. Stay tuned for our next episode, guys, where we'll be discussing even more significant artworks. We're not done yet.